Anyway,
You're all set?
you good? Yep.
All right, perfect. Now it is 6:30 on March 10th. We call the Hadley Conservation Commission meeting to order. First item on the agenda is gonna be the RDA for the Cummins Road culvert.
So the applicant for this project requested to withdraw their request, so we have to just vote to accept the withdrawal.
So if I make a motion to.
To accept the withdrawal.
Accept the withdrawal, that's all.
So you're looking for that motion made by Ray.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
So they wouldn't be,
Need a second.
there's one
One second.
That's you.
there's no limit.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
All right,
Is there any particular reason why I did that or no?
I think there was some issues with the natural heritage habitat and with that.
So they really shouldn't be
Yeah.
considered as part of.
All right, item 2. Another RDA for 27 East Hadley Road.
Yes,
Yeah.
did you want to speak a little bit about your project, and I could screen share it?
Hoping that others down solar that plug in. So it's
Oh.
not in the way.
Lyra?
Senator Martin choose that maybe.
Wait, who are you looking
No,
at?
it doesn't look like it.
I don't see it. It's just us and then Lyra with plane, but I will pull up the plans.
So we're looking to put solar on our house, and, southern exposure, we are looking to produce as much solar, to cover the electric bill as possible. Turns out that we can't do that with just the roof, so we want to put, a ground mount system as well behind the house. So
Okay.
roof panels as well as, a ground mount system in the backyard.
So this is the plan, there's a stream, I don't know if it's perennial or intermittent, either way it would be outside of the 200-foot riverfront area
Right.
and a little over 100 feet from the bordering vegetated wetlands associated with that stream.
He's just.
So,
We're not.
I am recommending that we issue a negative determination of applicability.
Yeah.
A negative 4, the work described in the request is not within an area subject to the jurisdiction under the act, including the buffer zone. Therefore, said work does not require the filing of a notice of intent unless and until said work alters an area subject to jurisdiction under the act. And 6, the area and or work described in the request is not subject to additional review and approval by the Hadley Conservation Commission under the municipal wetlands bylaw, which that would just mean that you don't need any further permitting. for
Right.
this.
So it's more than 100 feet away from the buffer zone too. Yeah, so there's really nothing that we can say there.
Yeah, so the only thing is we would just ask, like the silt fence and everything. I guess you're not really doing much. It's just one,
I don't.
yeah, I guess we don't really need anything. Yeah,
Not within the,
that's true.
Yeah.
And it's not like we're gonna be excavating very much or doing anything at all.
oh, and that's all far enough away anyways.
Yeah, all right.
You said it was a negative.
A negative 4 and 6.
All right, so we'll be looking for a motion to accept that, under the purview of -4 determination, -6.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Steve,
Second.
seconded by Ray, all those in favor?
Right.
Aye.
All right, so I'll send you a copy of this. Do I have your information, your email?
I'm not sure if they do.
Okay, let me,
I'll just write it down.
yeah, write it down there.
I'll do it.
Yeah, oh, so should I start?
Yeah, go, that's fine.
If they're on that side.
Oh.
Beautiful, thank you so much. All right, yeah, thank you guys. All right, item 3 is gonna be a notice of intent, file number 170-312, it's gonna be for 207 Russell Street, parking lot reconstruction. And are you here for that?
Yep.
Cool.
All right, so my name is Chris Baker. I'm here with Berkshire Design Group on behalf of the owner. Here's the plan.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. So this project is at 207 Russell Street. It's for the addition of 14 new parking spaces into the commercial area. So at the moment, they don't really have enough parking for some of the uses that are in the commercial development. I think there's a plans that,
Yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of the text on the bottom so we can see
Okay.
better.
Okay, I need some.
So where is this located? 207, who's the owner?
So it's where, so there's the F45 fitness place.
Yep.
It's that.
That new complex, they need more parking there.
More parking.
Yeah,
It is
there was a
usually
whole
pretty
issue.
packed when you go through there.
And people would park like towards the middle and block
Cool, all right,
emergency access.
wow.
If you wanna go, yeah, maybe to the layout, which is, the next one down. Yeah, I think that'll be, so, in order to add more parking, they really, the lot is kind of narrow, you have to go out into the back. Dashed line, so basically the wetlands are hatched with the little grass symbols toward the right. There's a lighter dashed line and that's the flagged wetland area. And then the next line over is a 35 foot. So we're staying out of the 35 foot, and there will have to be a retaining wall in order to add the pavement. So the hatched, the kind of gray hatched area is where we're proposing to add new pavement and put the wall to basically add fill there in order to get the additional spaces. So the additional spaces, by bumping out all of the parking, we're adding spaces against the building, and then there's 4 floating spaces that we're able to add kind of to the,
On the bottom.
on the bottom, yeah. Yep. So we're still leaving a 22-foot wide parking aisle. So this is also going through planning board process right now, and we did get a peer review, and the peer reviewer looked at the stormwater report, and we had a very lengthy, it was about a 7-page back and forth, and addressed all of his comments, and so he is satisfied with the planning board side of things, which did include all the stormwater, and, you know, he looked at all the site details and lighting. You know, there's new, a trash area that's being added. And everything's been checked. There's a sheet at the end that, you know, checks everything for all the turning radiuses for the fire department and for different vehicles being able to get in and out of those spaces. And it is tight, but, you know, vehicles can get in and out, so.
So are you changing this, what, are you making changes to the stormwater system?
So the stormwater system, so we took the model that they originally did.
Mhm.
And then I basically remodeled it from the existing conditions before, I think it was 2015 when they did this work. And so I took their previous existing conditions model and modeled it from there to make sure that the added pavement would suffice. And they have Coltech chambers under the lot on the, not really the south because it's rotated, but plan south. And those underground infiltration chambers were oversized for that system, so it actually does still work for the additional pavement that we're adding.
So essentially, the parking spaces that are pre-existing in the back facing south, I guess you would say.
Yep.
You're just lengthening those?
No, so where the cars are in the aerial right now, that will become the travel aisle.
Okay,
And all the spaces are moving back to where it's now grass, that will be pavement
okay,
as well. So the pavement is getting extended both on the plan north and south, just kind of bumped out toward the,
gotcha.
Right.
that's okay, toward, yeah, kind of toward the.
And we have the calcs and all that business as far as the amount of impermeable surface that we're creating now, everything, and
That was so that was looked at in the planning board review for the stormwater
okay. Retention and everything.
permit, so, yeah, so we're still reducing
You're still
peak
in,
flows from, obviously, the peak flows increase a little bit from the 2015 proposed conditions, but it's still a decrease from the existing conditions from 2015 when they proposed the original project.
Is that in the NOI letter?
It's in the stormwater letter that was attached to the NOI, yep.
A little bit slow today.
and what are your, and you're gonna put put your silt fence or whatever your barrier right at the 35-foot mark?
Yep.
And no work's gonna be beyond that.
No, and the way it's shown now, it's really the outer extent of what we would be doing because that is a block retaining wall and he may just move to a concrete wall, which would be much narrower. So the block wall, we need about 5 feet for the blocks to stack and taper up.
Taper back.
Yeah, he may be actually just looking at narrowing the whole thing, so.
That was my only concern with having that retention wall being that close to the 35-foot
Yeah,
line. As
right.
far as excavation to set that, you would need to make sure you have enough room to one,
Exactly.
do the work and two, still have your silt protection and everything else in place.
Yeah, yep.
We gotta just make sure that that's not gonna be, touching each other. That's the big
Yeah, I
thing.
set it essentially right, it's basically to like the edge of the stone, and I think there's a little bit of a buffer in between the 35 and where the buried stone is to set the blocks.
What do you got, about 2 inches?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's not much.
it's not much,
Yeesh, okay.
it's not much. It's very, very tight, and getting the 22 feet between the parking stalls for the travel aisle is about as small as we can go.
Now, is there already a retention wall there on the other side of that grass?
There are, yes,
Okay.
we're tying into some existing concrete retention walls.
Okay,
So one thing that we still want to do is schedule a site visit.
For sure.
We've
Mhm.
kind of held off because of the snow.
is this already flagged? You guys have that marked out at all or not?
As far as the extent of where the wall is going and the work is going,
I think
The
that
wetlands?
the best thing to see would definitely be where that 35-foot zone starts and ends. I think would be the most helpful
Yeah,
thing for us.
we don't have that, but I could definitely go out and take measure and.
I think that, yeah, that would be.
That would be the biggest thing for us, just to see, you know what I mean? Because I know what it would take to actually set up a wall like that. And like I said, you're just gonna wanna make sure you have enough room. We'd hate to be really touching that line, so.
And then I found the peak discharge in the stormwater report for if you want
Okay.
to take a look at that. So it's in,
Could you send that thing?
yeah, it's in the Dropbox. Oh, wait,
Is it? Okay.
it should be, yeah.
All right.
And you said when they first engineered this for the initial construction, they
They did.
they
They left
overcompensated
some
for
extra.
Stored, okay.
Overkill big time.
Good.
Yeah,
Good for you.
which,
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah.
yeah,
So there was one DEP comment, intermittent stream by the south boundary line.
yeah,
That,
that is over, it's pretty far away. I think it's over.
I can see it, it's that, it
Yeah,
looks like it's that natural.
I did measure it, and I forget what the measurement is, but
Yeah, that line, I believe.
yeah, it's,
it's like straight line?
Yep.
That's a ditch.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess we'll see all that when we get out to this.
Yeah. No, I think a site visit would definitely be helpful, but like I said, if we could get, flags out for where that 35-foot buffer zone ends, just so we can have a better idea where you can, get everything situated and set up.
mhm.
I think that would be helpful.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've made multiple trips out there just to make sure this is all gonna work.
That it's very tight.
Yeah.
I will admit that is very tight.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Kayla.
oh, did we want to put something on the schedule now for a site visit?
I mean, how soon could you have everything laid out there? Like I said, it's kind of weather pending right now, 'cause it's a little muddy and
Yeah,
slushy.
I mean, I'd wanna get, I mean, you're just looking for like pin flags off of the wetland.
I would say that every, 20 feet or so to try to draw a line for us so we could actually see exactly where it is. And then maybe if you could do like proposed. I mean, if you're just you're just adding depth to the parking spaces themselves, and we can kind of see the natural grass line there where it's gonna stop, but.
Yep.
If we could just have an idea where you're planning to propose the wall in reference to where the flags are for the 35-foot zone, I think that's probably gonna be the easiest thing to.
Yep.
Be able to differentiate everything. If that's something you can do, if you wanna get that squared away first, then we can come up with a date for a site visit.
We'll also see what the weather is looking like.
Right.
Who knows?
It's got snow, right?
I didn't know that. With joy.
Up to you, whenever you get it done. we'll know.
Yeah, no, go out and see how much snow is still back there and.
Yeah,
And then I guess the only other thing if it's gonna be a retention wall there, I guess, where does the snow go currently for
That's
this
a good
property?
question. I was just, yeah.
It's a good question. I'm actually not sure.
Because the only thing I'd be concerned about is if it was to go, say, in that south corner where it's like bordering where our buffer zone is, I mean, we're not gonna
Yeah.
want salted snow
That-
piles sitting there.
That is actually like a little depression there that has, so I can ask where they put it now. I'll probably say it when I go out there.
I wonder, that's such a tight area, I'm sure they probably haul it out of there, but I'm
We could
during the
yeah.
storm, they're not, that's the only thing.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any space up front to put it to.
Was there any, restrictions or anything like that when they originally built that?
That's what I was gonna ask. I didn't look for the old order of conditions for this project.
Yeah,
Um,
Just because there is that stream that close, I mean, if you
Yeah.
think about all the other Route 9 projects that are kind of like along the bike path stream and that we have the conditions for snow, I would assume this is probably very similar to it because it's so new.
Yeah, I'll check to see what, the original order has.
okay,
I
yeah,
don't know the
if you
final.
find that, do you want to send it to me?
Yeah,
I don't think we would do that.
And if it's not something that's already, you know, in the existing plan for that property, I think that might be something we'd want to look into maybe for, once this is complete, to see, you know, where the snow is actually gonna go from here on out.
Well, I mean, if, you probably have to store the snow on site or remove it
Well, that's what I'm saying. 'Cause
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it stored right there, especially if they're using salt.
in those back, you know, those last couple. I would push everything to that back lot, but you can't take it out, you can't put, can't let all that sediment and everything go into the wetland.
Right.
now, would you be using an existing operation and maintenance plan, or would there be a new operation and maintenance plan?
We're just
Same
gonna use the
stormwater.
existing ones, the
Okay.
same stormwater system. Yep, and we're gonna grade everything so that it goes into the existing catch basins as well.
Well, there might be some modifications if it says, if the snow storage is supposed to be on the grass.
Yeah,
That's the thing, and because essentially you're taking that grass section out and it's gonna be straight wall
Right.
to
Right.
wetlands, so.
Yep.
right, yep.
I think that's something we'll just have to keep in mind moving forward. Just like you said, it's just so tight right there. There's really not a lot of play for anything else to happen there. That's the thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Continue this to next month?
Yeah, I would say,
Continue it to next month?
Yeah.
yeah, if you can, like I said, if we can get out there and do a site visit before the next meeting, just so we can put eyes on it.
Yep.
Yeah, get a hold of Kayla and we can set up a time to come walk around out there and continue this the next month if that's,
Yep, which would be, I think it's April 14th. Yep, April 14th. All right.
Mm-hmm.
do you have anything else on this or?
The only thing I do, I have all the, you know, the paperwork from the certificate of mailing, that, I don't know if you wanted the notification that was sent out and the Gazette.
That's on the.
That's online, you want those? Okay, and then I don't know if you wanna add this, this was the back and forth with the peer reviewer.
I have that.
I don't know if you have that as well.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're all set there.
Cool.
Okay, and you have the hard copies? so-
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, at this point, I'd be
So
looking,
we'll get a field visit in there somewhere.
yeah, if we could do it before the next meeting, that'd be great. That way
Yeah.
we can move forward with it.
Okay.
So yeah, for now, I'll be looking for a motion to continue this north intent to the April 14th meeting.
And make a motion to continue this matter to the next meeting.
Second.
A motion and a second, all those in favor? Aye,
Aye.
beautiful. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll see you soon.
Yes, definitely.
Okay,
All right. Now, Doug, did you want to share your screen or should I pull it up on mine?
I'm happy to share it. Either way.
I will stop sharing.
and that leads us to another notice of intent, file number 170-313, South Maple Street Solar Array at Cook Farm.
Oh. Well, hello, my name is Doug Searle.
with the Berkshire Design Group, as you know, so it's Jake Marley of Hyperion, that we are working with, and we are here tonight to present a dual use elevated agrivoltaic solar array, proposed solar array on Gordon Cook's farm located at South Maple Street, it's parcel 960. And we had come before you in January to present an RDA for a specific, an existing culvert that needs replacement that is part of an intermittent stream that is part of an existing farm road crossing that goes between two fields within this overall parcel. So the overall parcel of 960 is roughly a little over 29 acres, 29.1 acres. And the western half of that parcel is what we're looking at here in the survey, that is land and agricultural use, and dividing this land and agricultural use is an intermittent stream that has this existing crossing on the and that intermittent stream has bordering vegetated wetlands surrounding it. And what is noted on this plan, this line kind of strays from that intermittent stream channel that is following the vegetation here, is bordering vegetated wetlands. Some bordering vegetated wetlands were also found on the east side of this. So from that, there's a 35-foot no disturb zone following Hadley's wetland bylaw, and then on both sides, and then a 100-foot buffer kind of runs down the sides of this eastern farm field. What is being proposed, populate with a map. I'm not sure why there is not a map here. Aha, thank you, computer. So what is proposed is a just under 500 kilowatt solar array that consists of 1,080 panels. These are elevated panels that are placed onto a tracking system. So each row running north-south is on a tracking system so that the panels themselves can rotate 55 degrees in either direction, east-west, following the sun throughout the day. And they are positioned on their posts to be 10 feet off the ground so that, you know, normal agricultural activities can go on underneath them without getting in the way. That the panels from kind of center line post to post are 27 feet from the kind of the edge of those wings when they're sitting horizontally, would be 23 feet or 20, it's actually 21 feet in space. But sufficient room for tractors to move through that area, sufficient room for light to still get down to the crops. Certainly a lot of success on Joe's farms where he's currently got this put in at 92 Shattuck Road. What we are proposing to do, this is entirely outside of the 35-foot. What is highlighted in this kind of light purple line here, this blue line, on both sides of the 35-foot no disturb zone. So we're proposing to have these panels be installed outside of that. What is being proposed following the zoning bylaw regulations, tree screening is necessary. Although there is ample vegetation during the growing season that alongside this intermittent stream, really the vast majority of it is kind of deciduous vegetation, and the solar bylaw requires that there be kind of perennial evergreen screening. And what we are proposing is a arbor vitae, Thuya occidentalis, and the variety of it is known as a smaragd, which translates to emerald, is the variety of it. We've received some comments from Mark Stinson that I'm not sure if you guys had also gone through. There were 4 comments from him, and I want to just walk through those as I'm presenting this because they're very relevant. I didn't find them to be insurmountable comments, but just wanted to walk through. The first one that he mentions is following the vascular plant index, that Thuya occidentalis, smaragd, is a cultivar and is an introduced species. So it is that as a cultivar, it is not native to this county. It is a species that we have used on many projects. We've certainly used them within projects that have been presented through this commission. So we don't find it to be, it's certainly not an invasive species. There are well over 100 different cultivars of arborvitae, since arborvitae are so commonly used everywhere for evergreen plantings. There are pure natives, but it is harder to find a pure native that also is within a wetland status, that is also,
Right.
a permanent evergreen species. And that fits some of the kind of design requirements to not have a really large tree. For example, American holly would be one that has a facultative status, but is a larger tree. And so that's why this species is commonly used in many different projects, particularly solar projects, just because it's a shorter tree. So it does have a wetland indicator status, but he's pointing that out, and I'd like to make the case for this project that this is a commonly used species. It's not considered an invasive species, and it is a cultivar of a native species. I'm not sure what it was mixed with. I believe it was
Green giant.
blended with another species. Originally, it came out of Denmark, but the Thuja occidentalis is one that you find in the northeast of this country. So, so the second point that Mark brings up is that the plants that we are proposing, so we're proposing 36 trees that are within the bordering vegetated wetland, right at the edge of the land in agricultural use. The reason that we're proposing this idea of planting what we'd like to argue is mostly native vegetation in a wetland is to maximize the ability of haying and the ability of farm work to not plant them as another row out in the farm field adjacent to the solar panels or parallel to the solar panels, because they get in the way to a degree. They're not very wide trees, but it would be optimal for Gordon's agricultural practices to not have trees directly in the way of the current open fields. And so we're proposing to put it right at the edge of the field and right at the edge of that to kind of maximize the field space, but also try to minimize the disturbance to the non-agricultural vegetation that is there in the bordering vegetated wetlands. And they could be conditioned to be planted by hand. We're certainly not thinking in our minds that there would be large, heavy equipment that'd be going in there to create further disturbance. It's an area obviously from agricultural use that has, ongoing disturbance to it. And we certainly not want to add disturbance to the native vegetation, but we don't want to take away the farm field. So we're trying to put it right at that edge. Mark's comment is that the proposed plants are proposed to be in land that's in agricultural use, and there's no mention of losing status for that area. So if we're putting plants that are not part of the farming activities in there, then that land and ag use would get reduced. And then he's saying that also that means that these plants could be removed at any time as an exempt agricultural activity. Further says that there's no work line adjacent to the plantings saying where the limit of work is, and that these plantings don't have anything to do with the land and agricultural use. Therefore, the plantings are not exempt, and the work should still be considered an alter and a fill by definition of the Wetland Protection Act. So, and that the commission may require an alternatives analysis. So first I would comment to say that, yes, he's obviously correct. We're not proposing these plants are exempt. We're trying to put them right on that line. So we're minimizing any land that's currently in agricultural use, that would be reduced by the existence of these plants. And what our argument is for not also right now proposing another fill area of some other wetland plants. There's a fair amount of diversity of vegetation in this intermittent stream outside of the land and agricultural use. And so we would find that if these plants were installed, by hand, it would be a minimally invasive practice. It would be essentially a very temporary disturbance to otherwise adding additional vegetation, native vegetation to this wetland area. And so if some other additional native vegetation was thought to be needed, by the commission. Roughly, like 36 5-gallon containers is roughly about 100 square feet worth of land. And so that amounts to several shrubs that could be installed in another location, and we'd certainly be happy to, entertain an idea, about that. Although we aren't proposing that because we're making an argument that we don't think that it's necessary. Our limit of work line is, proposed this dark line that shows up right next to the proposed plants is the erosion control material. And so that's really, we're putting that right at the edge of the farm field so that we're not trying to increase any disturbance and have any sedimentation, further sedimentation beyond what would happen from typical agricultural activities, where we're proposing to put these trees. There are also other evergreen arborvitae proposed on the north end of the field. They just happen to be outside
Right.
of the bordering vegetated wetlands and
What kind of trees are all there right now?
That's a mixture of
yeah,
oak, maple, there's pin oak, there's.
So why wouldn't you just plant oak and maple to match it all in?
well, the reason that the
Because I'm telling you right now, the one behind everybody knows about the one behind my house. It's been there for what? How long has it been there?
3 years.
3 years, 4 years?
Yeah.
And I'm still looking at those panels. Those trees just aren't growing. So oak, maple, something taller
The
and match in with the,
I guess the
with the
concern
existing fauna.
from our experience with the planning board is that what the the bylaw stipulates is that the screening is year round. And so with deciduous trees, of course, half the time it is not.
Yeah.
There could be a slightly larger variety that is chosen in order to add this kind of winter blockage, but we'll barely see these trees in the summertime because they'll be blocked and
Well, I mean-
embedded with all the other.
Yeah, so I mean, that's number one. I'm just thinking, use the existing, whatever's out there now, match it in instead of arborvitae's. And number two, you're installing these within the 35 no touch zone. So I'm just trying to
Right, and yes,
juggle that in my head too,
we
so.
are just certainly proposing to plant.
I would, I mean, the thing is too,
I know we're trying to keep the, I don't know what you want to call it.
usable land around the solar available.
Yeah.
But with that being said, what kind of blows my mind a little bit here is that if you're on South Maple Street and you're looking towards that field, you're not gonna see those panels
That's what I was
anyways.
gonna say, and
I would rather almost not see any of those arborvitae's in that line go in there
So
because that's,
We did consider that, I've had a lot of conversation with Cordy and his
Yeah.
opinion was the same. But just to,
I know the
All right,
planning board wants to see that, but I would rather not any excavation in there.
Waive that. I
their
don't know.
definition, so there were two projects that
Yeah.
had combined 0 screening trees that were approved in the fall.
Yeah, and there, I think for annual town meeting, they have a proposed update to the screening bylaw where they may require, but are not.
Definition compared to other towns, like we're working in Whately on another
Mhm.
project, and their definition for screening is a lot more objective, whereas it seems like Hadley's is it shall have screening.
Mhm.
So to me, that's a little bit
That-
Yeah,
subjective.
so there,
That particular bylaw doesn't leave the planning board wiggle room to make a call one way or the other. It sort of just mandates that screening must happen. So
Yeah.
in order to accommodate that, we haven't yet submitted, we're going to submit tomorrow to the planning board. But we wanted to submit to you guys first because we know they like to hear what your guys' thoughts first.
I mean, my recommendation would be to not put those 2 rows in at all. But I don't know if that's something they're gonna wanna hear. The only thing that I'm concerned about, one, is that you're doing the work inside of that buffer zone alongside the actual stream bed itself. And
Right.
2, come springtime flood season, if that, for some reason, that stream gets backed up, all those roots are gonna become exposed, those trees are gonna fall over, there's not gonna be any stable ground for them to actually do what they're supposed to be doing. And as far as like, another thing that Ray said, those rows of 36 and whatever it is, 20 on the other side of that roadway, they don't match anything there. And you're
They're gonna
really,
stand out.
you're really hard pressed to see that field where the solar array is gonna be anyways. So I don't agree with that, but I mean, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, so there, I guess to separate out, the side that the planning board needs to deliberate on, which is how it pertains to that bylaw versus, the planting of, putting in a native tree for screening purposes right at the edge of land and agricultural use that is within the, BVW land. To propose planting in BVW, we would need to, by the Wetland Protection Act, we would need to offer up another area. If we're going to do any disturbance of a wetland or alteration of a wetland to reduce the wetland, we would need to plant something else to offset that. And if we do 100 feet of taking away an area of wetland, we need to replace that somewhere. But what we're proposing is not to take away any area of wetland at all. We're adding more vegetation to an area
No, I understand that.
that is a tree that you would find in this sort of upland area, not at the bottom of the wetlands, but at, the facultative wetland up at this, the kind of the higher floodplain, type species. I don't disagree that, it will stand out, given that what is there now is essentially a series of deciduous woodland, trees.
Right, scrub
No
brush, and
argument
everything else is there, yeah.
To fit the qualifications for that, the perennial screening, to have 365 days worth of screening, evergreen plants or, fencing is really the only solution that's gonna block that. And although the northern area may be more like, if you're on the road, coming up, just, coming in from the south before you would get to, you're going to the flavor shop here, there is a little bit of a view that comes through on this southern side. And so I would imagine that, in the wintertime, that'll be more exposed. And, we're obviously proponents of all of this. So I think seeing elevated solar panels in farm fields is a very good cultural thing, but that's not how the bylaw represents it. So that's why they're also proposed in the southern area. So we wanted to, I appreciate what you guys are, the opinions you're sharing, because this is what we want to have this discussion to see how we can install this without having to put them, a parallel line that goes right through and, barely touches this 35 or comes in slightly there, but more importantly would be really in the farm field where, Gordon's Hang and, would prefer to not have trees there. So that's the dance between these two items.
If it was on the 35-foot line, I don't think it would be an issue, but
Yeah, I
the
think
problem is
it's
it's
less than-
directly inside of where that stream bed lies, so it's like,
Well, it's outside the stream bed, and it's in the edge of the farm field.
no, I understand that,
But
I'm
it is
just saying,
within
it's like,
Part of the project, they're within 35-foot buffer. I mean, it's,
Right.
if you're like touching it, I'd be like, all right, well, we can,
the guy
Figure that out.
before you here, with the parking lot, I mean, we were stringent with that 35 foot. We have to.
Sure.
That's, that is.
even if it is hand excavated, like I said, it's going against everything that we're kind of here to not have, and just knowing a little bit about trees and soil and everything else, like, I don't see how those are gonna really thrive there,
Well,
honestly.
they do, these, this species, Thujaxidentalis, does exist in wetland areas.
Oh, no, I know,
That's
I
what
know.
it would- This is actually the type of soil that you wanted in.
Are there any in there?
Not in this location now, no, there's a whole
There's a
series
reason.
of.
I would just be curious to see if maybe the planning board would waive those two sections from being installed.
I'd rather.
I would rather see that than,
Right, from
Take
our
that off
previous
and-
experience, they're not able to waive, that even if they'd like to.
even a recommendation from us, though, I mean.
And I'd rather.
That would be
Sure.
worth, a conversation that's worth to have with the planning board, and I'll be at the planning board meeting too, so I could speak to the Conservation Commission's perspective.
Sure.
And I know they have that bylaw change coming up for the annual town meeting, which will happen in May.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's gonna impact this project at all and how they review this project. But I think that you probably need to see them first before we proceed, because
Right.
we have our recommendation, right? We don't wanna see the trees there. We don't wanna see them in the 35-foot. There's existing vegetation along the stream that is basically providing that screening that the planning board, that they have in the bylaw that they were.
You know, like I,
So,
another thing I was curious, I'm sorry to cut you off. Would Gordy be willing to plant something on the other side of the stream closer to South Maple Street in that pasture land?
We looked at that, we kicked that around, and so we don't have the wetland on that side delineated, or the 35.
Okay.
So I said, means Ward was at Ward Smith to the wetland,
And if it jogs out just as far as it does to the left as it does to the right, that might not be helpful at all either.
So it was just, kind of timing of things, and over the winter, Ward didn't get back
Right.
up there, so, we went ahead with this plan. If
Yeah.
it doesn't work out at planning board, then we might, in the springtime when snow's gone, have Ward come back out, to look at that western side.
And didn't Gordon express that sometimes this area, I'll put my mouse over it, this side, that's the, west of the stream.
You can see a bit of a pond, so it does
Yeah.
get wet.
Yeah.
Or I
Yeah.
don't know if pond's the right word, but
There is this area that drains through. But this area, I thought this area we were concerned that this area would have wetland that jogs out similar to the other side, in which case.
that northern section has more existing vegetation.
Yeah.
Where Doug pointed out the southern area is the most exposed.
Exposed piece.
Fine. And it's not part of this project. Gordon has mentioned tile drainage in the northwest part of this field.
Mhm.
It seems like a lot of farmers are interested in tile drainage.
That part of town is notoriously wet too,
Yeah.
which is,
Well, we'd certainly be happy to entertain, finding a way.
I would see, I mean, if the planning board can waive that and we don't have to put in those sections of trees directly, inside of our thing, I think that'd be great. Cause we don't really wanna see that,
Sure.
I understand that you have to have a visual thing with the planning board that needs to be whatever, but if they could do a special condition for this. And obviously you don't, like you said, you don't wanna bring those trees into the field and have, or lose part of agriculture in that, so.
Yeah, it's a bit of a
That's
rock in
not-
a
I mean, if you-
spot.
If you put like a row of trees, it's kind of like having another row of panels.
That was another option that we considered. The original design, there was a string of panels that we got rid of. And when I was discussing the row of trees with Gordon, it
Mhm.
kind of kicked out. And so it was hard to zero in on a plan with that. But if it does become that, I think we've discussed that and that could be a possibility. I don't know. Oh, no, I guess there is space. What is this blue line here? Is that the 35 foot?
That's currently highlighted.
Yeah.
That's the 35 foot.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it might get tight then in that southwestern area.
Right.
And I guess actually the middle section too, but
Just right,
Not-
yeah.
I would be more comfortable working with that than putting it directly in there, you know what I mean?
And then maybe there's a little bit of wiggle room to move the panels over.
yeah, we can fix it.
Just slightly.
Right, you shift everything,
Yeah,
to
in order
east.
to accommodate that. For the sake of asking this question, I completely understand that, being stringent about the 35 foot no disturb zone. In the case of, proposing to plant something in the wetlands, there's certainly been discussion about not those particular species, but let's pick something else that is more similar to what's there. If there was a different species recommended, would there be any room for entertainment of basically just adding native vegetation to the edge of a wetland?
So I
In the
think-
wetland, but it's the
I
edge
think
of
we gotta
the,
stick with the 35 foot no matter.
Yeah, I don't think it's a matter of the actual tree
Yeah,
itself, I think
sure.
it's the placement of where they're gonna go. I think that's the biggest thing that we're working on.
okay,
And you are gonna lose farmland when you plant them. For sure.
there would be a little bit, but they're not that big in diameter, so.
But if that's the case, of what you're saying is true, then if you shifted that line of trees directly alongside the panels themselves, you're gonna be essentially just losing the same amount. You would just have a longer row, correct?
It was important that and also just the obstruction, turning radius.
No, I get it, you're trying to fit so many things into something that's not really there, and that's what's troubling, and if we can be outside of that 35 foot, I think everyone here will be in agreement, that's what we'd rather see than this. I mean, if the planning board's willing to work with you, I
Sure,
think it would be a conversation worth having to see if we can maybe rearrange the setup a little bit and come up with something a little bit
sure,
that makes everyone happy, you know what I mean?
yeah, we'll certainly ask them.
And like I said, with Keo's recommendation, I have no problem going to that meeting too, if that's something they want to talk about. But yeah, I think once we open the gate of doing this kind of work inside of that 35 foot zone, we have another solar project down the road that happens to be, along the same lines here, then we're gonna be diving into that
Sure.
more often than I think we want to.
Yeah, that's
We
understandable.
can't, yeah, we can't go with that.
And that's the thing, I mean, that's really the only thing we can hang on to, is that 35 foot.
Right.
So,
How tall is that brush that's there now?
well, summertime, it's probably 10 feet. Right now, it's probably 4 feet.
Yeah.
Give or take spots. I mean, there's trees mixed in there. I mean, it's just a bunch of overgrown scrub rock, basically.
Oh, that's true.
And I guess the issue with that is if it's maintained as land and agricultural use, because is that maintained as a drainage ditch?
So that's what
It
we
is
looked at for
currently
that.
maintained as a drainage ditch, yeah.
So then.
So they're
they
not
would-
really maintaining it. And that's the thing, but if he wants to get in there and maintain it, and he's gonna have that row of trees there, that's gonna be impossible. He's gonna have to do it from the other side.
What I'm saying is if we just say, oh, the existing vegetation is, that'll be, if something works out with the planning board where that's the screening. And then also he's like, oh, okay, I need to maintain this ditch. It's land and agricultural use, it's exempt. And then just like mows that, and then there's
Right.
no more screening anymore.
So like you said, all right, so we already have a natural screen there. We don't need to be doing any work inside of the 35. And then if the farmer himself wants to go in and clean the ditch, he will have access to do it from the
Well,
agricultural.
no, but the issue is then that the screening is gone if he clears the ditch.
Right, right.
Well, that, and I mean, he wouldn't be able to clear the ditch if the screening was there in the first place.
No, I'm saying if they don't plant the trees.
Right.
And we just consider the existing vegetation the screening, or the planning board considers the existing vegetation as screening. That is still, if he's maintaining it as a drainage ditch, it's an exempt agricultural activity to clear it out.
Okay.
And so
I get what you're
that's,
saying.
you know what I mean? So we have to consider that as well. And I guess we can condition, I mean, if we work something out, we can condition that as that vegetation has to stay, or at least has to be maintained a certain height.
Right, that's what we're proposing that it would, that obviously that vegetation would need to stay to be the screening.
Okay,
And that.
so
allow
it would
him to
not
Be
be
able
landed
to
agricultural use.
maintain that drainage ditch, because he's already needing to maintain the culvert, obviously, and replace that, which.
Right, we're doing that.
Which we had presented earlier, but yeah, what we can certainly do is we'll bring this up with the, planning board, when we're able to meet with them, and then, present this and present that, you guys would like to see that the natural vegetation be there, be the screening. And have that discussion with them to see if that can be considered acceptable, or if they need to see more, then we can, obviously, we'll circle back.
If you guys are on board with that.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
I think it makes the most sense. It's
Yeah.
just, it's less work, it's less stuff that we have to worry about, and I think it would
Yeah.
make everything just more streamlined there, so.
From our end, we're concerned that that's been a sticky wicket for previous projects, that they need to abide by that.
Good, I get it. They're gonna hold a standard, just like we're gonna hold a standard when it comes to anything within our, zones that we can
Yes.
work with, but.
Figure out another.
Yeah.
Another direction, yeah. Okay,
So now you said Ward Smith delineated,
that's correct.
And Eaton, associates did the survey.
and we'll also, I mean, we went out there for a site visit, but
Yeah,
would you wanna go out there for a site visit?
I wouldn't mind, yeah.
Yeah, I think once we have more snow melt, maybe,
Okay.
it'd be good to get an idea of also the existing vegetation.
Are you scheduling those at this point, or are you just waiting to see the snow?
Do you wanna schedule something now?
We can, it's both pretty much same much love.
Yeah, we can walk through that, it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it might be good to see it before it starts flowering, see, what's the it's the like most sparse it's gonna be in winter.
Yeah, I don't care, whoever.
One works for you?
I was gonna see what works for you guys first. We're happy to adjust schedules. Are there particular days that are no good for you?
Any day, I'm flexible to this.
Sometime next week?
Next week's fine.
Just gonna be Monday.
All right, let me check my calendar. Wednesday. Wait, Wednesday is the 18th?
Mhm.
Wanna do that?
Mhm.
Okay.
You guys available, say, well before late afternoon,
Well, let's see.
morning or early afternoon?
And if you
Or
find lunch
Thursday?
or not.
Is Thursday back?
We could do a bring your own lunch event.
No, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I don't care. Any one of
All
those
right,
days
let's
is
do
fine.
Wednesday then.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Whatever you guys wanna do.
Would 1 o'clock work for you? Would 1 o'clock?
1
work for
o'clock?
you guys?
Let's do 1 o'clock.
All right, that'd be great.
Good.
All right, well, thank you for entertaining all this.
No, thank you.
And,
Like I said, it's definitely something to chew over with the, planning board, and see if we can just make everyone happy and just get it done, you know?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate the feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, very much.
Awesome. All right, so we'll continue this, so a motion to continue this to the April 14th meeting.
The motion to continue, this to the April 14th meeting.
Motion made by Ray, looking for a second.
Second.
Second by Steve, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Beautiful.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, just by the way, when is this, construction planned?
Haven't gotten that
So
far.
you thinking this year or next year?
Maybe the end of this year.
This year?
That would be the hope, is to start it in November.
They didn't have the culvert yet, did they?
What?
Did they do the culvert?
No,
yet?
No, it
no,
would
we
be,
haven't, and
No.
Nothing, yeah.
That'd be done at the same time.
Got it.
yeah. Before any work is done, we'll.
Yeah.
Yeah, the end of the year, I'd say that's the earliest. We have interconnection agreement with Eversource, so we're well on the way on that path.
Okay.
Sweet.
Is that gonna all be underground? I should ask these questions before. All underground on the way out there, or is it? gonna
That's
be
the
aerial?
plan, and so actually, we probably should have addressed that. That's a big question of mine, is that culvert area. If, we can do either, stub up and go above ground. The preference has been, in Gordon, the agricultural has been to go underground, so go
Yeah,
under the culvert, or I'm not sure what the conduit. So that would be some coordination in terms of wondering.
Yeah, I mean, currently, I think we were discussing that it would be, once it leaves the street, it goes to, private pole on Gordon's side, that's all above ground, then it drops to go underground. That goes to where there's the
pad.
the pad with the main electrical equipment, transformers and such, and then, that, so it goes back up above ground to meet that equipment, then it goes below ground, and then it runs out to where then
Panels.
then it connects to the module switch panel, so that, where it would go through that culvert, the, plan was to trench at the same time that that culvert is
Right.
getting
Okay.
reset, or
Yeah.
if he's gonna choose to buy a new culvert and put that in, to replace that, at that same location right down the middle of the road to not have any new disturbance in through that area. It could be done above ground, as you're saying. I think it's probably preferred that it's all underground, so that
Yeah,
less weather,
yeah, I think
less,
so. I think so.
accident prone or anything like that.
Okay, no, just
Yeah,
we're on to other stuff, so I didn't make sure.
Yeah, no, I didn't think
It's
of
a
that.
fair question, yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay,
That's a fair question, but all that is to be done, and then what you had done at the 92 Shattuck Joe's farm was that they trenched it down to 3 feet below rather than typical 18 inches below, so that, keep it out of the way of all kind of tines and all
Influence
the,
everything, yeah.
implements of agricultural destruction, so like the way of that, so that's been really effective, so.
good,
Cool.
good. Yeah. All right, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys, very much.
All right, public comment. Do we have anyone here? I think we got a few people. And one,
I guess, yes, no?
all right. Other business, project updates, the Fort River Culvert Analysis Project.
So this is the MVP grant that we got with the 5 towns in the Fort River watershed to do the culvert analysis and prioritization plan. So the most recent update is that all the towns were responsible for finding a community liaison to conduct public engagement about the project.
That's you.
No, it can't be me. But so Melissa Langley, who works for the Connecticut River Conservancy as the water quality and lab coordinator, is going to have these community liaisons. So she's going to work with PVPC to plan some sort of event at the senior center. That's open to the public, so just let people know what's going on there. And then other office updates, I have the 2025 annual report draft. I put it in the Dropbox. Did everybody get a chance to read it, or do you want to look over it now?
I didn't read it.
I didn't read it.
Okay, so pass it down. It's basically the same format as last year. I just changed the numbers and what we did, so.
what we did.
Yes.
Sweet.
Good.
Thanks.
You have AI write this or? did you-
Yeah, frame it, put it in my office.
And Amy.
I was gonna say, can I put this on my resume?
Yeah.
Budget, you got anything for that?
So,
that's
what
good.
do we wanna, can we just vote to accept that?
I make a motion to accept the annual report for 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Alright. So we have a draft budget, so I don't know if you all remember, but last fiscal year, we had our budget combined with planning board and ZBA into a land use budget. So this kind of just streamlined costs a little bit, where we combined all the legal notice fees, tuition fees, office supplies, and dues fees, and kind of were able to reduce those a little bit. So the total budget for this year would be 73,249. This is the proposed budget from the town administrator and finance director. So this includes my salary, most of my salary, as well as the planning board, building department assistant. Part of her salary comes out of the planning board's budget, so that's reflected here. Planning board gets stipends. They have a contract with PVPC for planning services. Legal notices, we don't really use those because, we have the applicants pay directly for those.
Right.
But we'll have a tuition budget if this is accepted at of $500, which is reduced from the $1,000 last year. Office supplies, $500, and dues, $450. Nothing, different than what we usually see. I just wanted to ask if anybody had any questions or concerns about the proposed budget.
This is salaries for members.
That's the planning board, yeah, the planning board gets stipends,
Oh.
yeah.
Can we get on that?
Yeah, you want that? Yeah.
All right.
You don't need any more for like tuition and anything like that? You think that's enough for 450?
It'll have to be. Oh, yeah, the dues, that
That's what I
reflects the
mean,
actual
yeah.
cost.
Oh, that, okay.
Yeah, because the MACC, they let you know ahead of time, because they raise their costs
Yeah.
pretty much every year, but they let me know. So this is exactly.
Yeah, as long as, I mean, as long as you're not shorting yourself doing your day-to-day stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because the 450 would just cover MACC and RSMCP, which is like, that one's $25. And yeah, they have a ton of great resources, which you guys should use too. If you want to stop by, I can show you some of what they have. But I mean, that helped me like so much when I started. Yeah,
Oh, looks good. Thank you.
all right.
Yeah.
If there are no questions. I don't have any bills or any minutes.
Got anything else you want to chat about?
Nope, that's all.
All right. I'll be looking for a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion for adjournment.
Motion made by Steve, looking for a second.
Oh, my God, I second it.
All those in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Aye.